Okay, if you're watching this video, it's Thursday. Well, that's the day you're seeing this video. I created this video on Saturday, which explains why I'm wearing the same outfit all week, because I did a number of videos on Saturday to carry you through the week so that when I babysit my grandson, you'll still have a video to watch. Now, one of you, and boy, I wish I took note of the name, but one of you requested that I do a reading using the Etteilla cards. Now, it's not my forte. I'm not a Etteilla reader. I don't subscribe to Thoth. I don't subscribe to the, Egyptian ancestry of these cards. I don't. I don't subscribe to the assumption that these came from ancient Egypt and have, Kabbalistic and astrological and medical. There might be some of those references in a regular tarot deck or a mainstream tarot deck. I'm not saying that there aren't, but you can certainly understand and interpret the card without, being caught up in the mythology of ancient Egypt origin stories. Okay, now I've done like 4 or 5 different Etteilla videos now, comparing them to the other publications that I have, and also reviewing the pip cards and the court cards and discussing what they mean. And if you really want to get in depth with the Etteilla, look at all my videos, because I break it down. I break down the meaning of the pip cards. I break down the meanings of the court cards, and I show the meanings of the triumph cards. So if you want to see all that, watch my videos. They're all in succession before this one. However, I can do a few simple 3-card readings. I mean, after all, the meaning of the cards is written on the cards. So we have that advantage. Now, the keywords are written right on the cards. So let's see. I will continue to shuffle the cards because they have been in order, and I want to shuffle them well so that there's no successive cards. But are you hearing the shuffle? Are you listening to the way it sounds? It's like heaven. This, of course, is I'm using the Marco Benedetti. Let me flip the camera so you can see how nicely it shuffles. It shuffles beautifully. I will sometimes shuffle cards facing up as well as cards facing down. And I never shuffle cards facing up when it's the last shuffle, because of course I don't really want to see what the cards are. But I do it upright and in reverse. I do it this way and this way in order to keep the cards from bending or arcing in any particular. Okay, so one more shuffle probably. One more riffle shuffle probably will suffice. And then I'll do a few overhand shuffles. To demonstrate both shuffling techniques, because I know some of you exclusively overhand shuffle and some of you exclusively riffle shuffle. So I try to show both ways. Okay, let me go off camera, try to come up with a few random questions. And if you are Etteilla aficionados and you are well read in the Etteilla deck, and I come up with an interpretation that Etteilla would not approve of, I think you could probably leave it to yourself. I'm just doing this for fun, and I'm doing this because somebody asked me to, and not because I'm pretending to be an Etteilla expert. But I will make an effort to interpret these cards in a way that I understand them, the way they come to me. And, as is the case with all readings, right? The interpretation I give is the way the cards are perceived by me. Okay, let me go off camera, come up with a question. I'll be right back. Okay, question 1. My husband is planning his 80th birthday party. Now, I put the bug in his ear. I suggested that we have an 80th birthday party for him, which we will celebrate not this summer, but next, so the summer of 2025. And, when I suggested it to him, I figured maybe we'd have a handful of family and friends, maybe 20 in number. And as it turns out, my husband is calling just about every person he's ever known on his 80 years on this planet. And I'm having high anxiety. I want nothing to do with this birthday party if it's in this house, which is he's determined to throw this party in our home, which I am object to. I don't want anything to do with it. Why? Because he's not the one who has to clean 4 toilets before and after a party with 100 people. And also, I have to do all the work as far as cleaning the house. However, he does concede to catering, having it catered. But I'm doing my best to encourage him to have this event at another location. I don't know why he's hell-bent on having it in our home, but he is. I just want some kind of assurance or some kind of understanding of how this party will go. Perhaps a reading, may calm my nerves a little bit. I do have a year to worry about it, but a year happens quickly. Okay. Enterprises. Okay, new opportunity. I guess that's what that means. The 33rd card in upright suggests, fortune comes to you. Okay. Well, there's a suggestion there that it will be so good. Now, as of now, the cards are upright unless the way I shuffled them mix them up, but that happens naturally, and I'm not about to, some people will randomly go like this or whatever to, mix up the cards. I didn't think to do it. And so this shuffling will not reflect that. The next reading I'll do that. I just didn't think of it. So this looks like that it would probably be good. It would be a good enterprise, a good thing so far. Okay, let's see what the next card is. Allongement. I say I am still using the cheat sheet because I'm not proficient with the language to know. The more you see the cards and the more you use the cards, the more familiar you'll become. So detach yourself. Oh, okay. So in order for there to be success, right, it would be for me to detach myself with the process. Notice too, there's 2 threes. Isn't that interesting? Okay, and the third card is criticism. Okay, and what is that? That's 8 swords. And I think it means criticism. Let's take a look at what number 56 means. Critical. So fortune comes, then there's detaching myself, and then criticism. I'll detach myself from criticism. Try not to focus on the negative, and then good things will happen. I'm still not happy about this party happening at this house, though. I really am not. I know. There's another question. This time I will make an effort to reverse some of the cards, right? Okay, I think I did it, right? These are upside down, yep. So let me shuffle these cards. And how may I encourage him to see things my way and have these 80 to 100 guests that he's thinking of go to a venue? How may I convince my husband not to have the party in my home, in our home? You know, I'm just not feeling it. I just do not want all those people in this house. I don't. It's my home, you know. I feel like I'm okay. I'm a person with a lot of idiosyncrasies, I guess, and my home is my castle. I want my, you know, immediate friends and loved ones here, but I don't even think my husband even likes half of these people he's inviting to his party. You know, I mean, he's calling people he hasn't even spoken to in 50 years. And when he calls them, they're going, what the hell do you want after 50 years? You know what I'm saying? And I agree with them. But he just like sees it as a celebration of his life with all these people he's ever known. God bless him. Okay, how may I persuade my husband that a venue may be a better option? Again, I did incorporate some reversals so that I will have a somewhat even distribution of upright cards and reversals, because after all, Etteilla read with reversals. Okay, a youthful blonde. Okay, a youthful blonde. And okay, now there is, let's see, I think there is another meaning given to the youthful blonde. Let's see, is there? No, it's just a blonde boy. Okay, in reverse it would be daydreamer, but upright, it's a youthful blonde. Okay, spiritual experience. You know, a religious experience. See it as a, Lord have mercy. How can I, and prudence. You know, prudence means prudence, but let's see what other word they may give it. Yeah, prudence. Okay, well, if it was in reverse, it would mean be careful around others, which is, you know, would be fitting, but they're all upright. So, a blonde boy, a youthful young boy, religious experience, and be prudent. Okay, let me put these together and see what I come up with in my head. So since this card, the meaning Etteilla has set aside for it is a youthful blonde child, man-child, that's what it means, right? So I guess I need to think of the youthful man-children in my life, which would be my grandson, his blonde. I have a nephew who is 18, so he's an adult, but he's a blonde. So it could be him. And I'm not sure, you know, maybe the youthful blonde complicates things. I don't know, or the youthful blonde is an asset. A religious experience or religious study, a spiritual study, and be prudent. And I have no idea. I have no idea how to reconcile these three cards for a reading requesting how I could influence my husband or persuade my husband to agree to have the party at a venue. Perhaps I can use one of the children as the excuse. Maybe I can think of one by then. Maybe in the sense of religious, you know, being like, you know, when you have church, right? When you go to church, like where you have, a lot of people have religious experiences in church, you're doing it in a venue. You're not doing it at home. I mean, we celebrate our spirituality at home, but in the sense of, in the context perhaps of the meaning of this card is, you know, you celebrate religious experience in a special location. And it would be prudent. Okay, maybe I could just, you know, try to instill upon him it would be prudent to have a congregation of people who are celebrating life, especially if we're looking back at your youthful life. You know what? I think my husband might have been blonde or a light brown hair. Yeah, that might have been him. Okay, so a celebration of the life of a youthful young boy. It might be prudent to congregate in a building especially suited for that particular congregation. Now, it's also possible I might persuade him to knock a few dozen people off the list, right? Because, you don't really need to invite everybody you've ever known in your 80 years. Whew. But I think I've got it. This is him, a celebration of his life, and it would be more prudent to celebrate a large number of people in a building or facility meant to accommodate that type of celebration. Now, they're using the context of a church, with a congregation of people, I guess, who celebrate Mass or whatever, or celebrate religious things. But if I'm applying it to the context of the question, I guess that's not such a far stretch. Yeah, there's always a connection. Sometimes you just have to think hard about it. Okay, let me come up with a third question because I like to do readings in threes. Okay, I think I thought of a third question. I have been following the Brian Kohberger case regarding the possibility of his having been responsible for the murder of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. And recently, a year and a half later, came up with an alibi that he was stargazing. And of course, that alibi was achieved after learning the coordinates of where it was known that he was, so that his alibi can show where the state doesn't know he was. The state has no record of him being in, the location that he's chosen to show as his alibi, which is this particular park where he said he was stargazing on a cloudy night, but whatever. Okay, so I want to know how this new alibi, will it help him or hinder him? Because on the one hand, somebody, I think, would think it would be obvious how it took him a year and a half, to come up with an alibi based on where, the experts claim he wasn't. So he wouldn't know where he could say he was based on where they say he wasn't, right? You see what I'm saying? Anyway, so does this help him or hinder him, this new alibi of his? Okay, the first card is a reversal. It's the Ace of Batons. It's number 35, and as I mentioned, until I am familiar with the language of these cards, which only comes with proficiency, I am allowing myself to cheat by looking up the meaning of the card. So what number is this? Number 35 in reversed. Beware of the fall. Now this is on his behalf, how it helps his case. Beware of the fall. Now, okay, the fall could be seen as autumn, or it could be seen as a fall from grace. Okay, let's see what the next card is. Now, this looks like old man. That's what the translation looks to me, but I don't know. Let me look. 64. A vicious man. Wow. Not looking too good. And the third card. Le Passé, number 44. My cheat sheet says the past. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it? This is very interesting. Beware the fall, a vicious man, and the past. Now, see, in order to honor Etteilla's meanings for the cards, I can't give my definitions for these cards. It would be like imposing Rider-Waite-Smith meanings onto TDM cards or pip style cards. You just don't do that, right? They're separate systems, you know? You don't say, oh, I'm reading TDM now and superimpose Rider-Waite-Smith meanings on them. Sometimes they overlap, but mostly they don't. And I think it would be incorrect to impose my TDM understanding of the cards to Etteilla's when clearly he has meanings written on the cards. So it's not up to me to say Six of Cups is most fortuitous, when in Etteilla's language it means the past. And until I'm proficient with the language to understand what the cards mean, I have to use a cheat sheet. But once I know what the words mean, I can disregard my meanings that I would use on a TDM deck and just use his meanings and try to reconcile what it means. So here it is: beware the fall, a vicious man, and the past. I think it's just, number 44 is just the past, just 2 words. Oh no, it's the future. This is the upright. So the upright is the past and the reverse is the future. So give me a second to try to figure out what this might mean. After all, I'm not really familiar with these cards, and I just want to reconcile the question to the meanings that these cards suggest. You know, I'm just inclined to think that because it happened in the past, it happened. By the time they get to court, it'll be 2 years prior, 3 years, you know. I mean, the defense is really dragging this process. I mean, the prosecution has to some extent, but nobody's delaying this like the defense. But I think the cards are suggesting that the delays, or especially the delay in giving an alibi, which took like 2 years or a year and a half to come up with, is suggesting that it's going to be to his detriment. Beware the fall, the vicious man, the past. It happened in the past. I guess this card suggests that he will be perceived as a vicious man. And we can look at the fall as either it happened in November, which was autumn. So it could be perceived that this event that happened this November, or autumnal event that happened in the past, was done by a vicious man. We can look at it like that, okay? Or we can look at it like this thing that happened in the past. Yeah, that's the way I see it, the way I just said it. This thing that happened in the past, I think what will happen, the alibi that he brought forth will be another nail in the coffin to suggest that the wicked man, did something in the past, in the autumn. So he'll be revealed as a wicked man. I don't think it did him any favors, to be honest, according to these cards. So there's my attempt to read Etteilla. Now maybe I'm not so intimidated to use it, because after all, the words are written right on it, and it's only really a matter of understanding what the words are. And as long as you can agree to yourself not to try to superimpose either Rider-Waite-Smith meanings to the cards or TDM meanings to the cards, but just see these cards for who and what they are. And I guess I should leave it. I should leave them mixed up and down, because that's the way you read this deck, up and down. So I guess I'll honor that and leave them that way. My tendency is to upright cards, because that's how I roll. But Etteilla is its own system, and we don't superimpose TDM onto it, and we don't superimpose Rider-Waite-Smith, just as we don't superimpose Rider-Waite-Smith onto TDM or TDM onto Rider-Waite-Smith, right? We see each one of these systems as unto themselves. And I think as long as you read the Etteilla unto itself, really, I don't know why I've been intimidated by it, because the words are right on the cards. And just like with Rider-Waite-Smith, the pictures are right on the card. I've never been intimidated by Rider-Waite-Smith, because the pictures tell you the story. Right? So, there's nothing, all you have to do is look at the picture and you know what's going on. The challenge and the discipline, as always, is to put them together to answer the question, or put them together to create a story. And sometimes it takes a minute. If you're not familiar with the system or the cards, it takes a minute to put the story together. But there's always a connection to be made. And I'm just shuffling because it's such a luscious deck. I just love shuffling it. Until next time, friends, peace, stay well, be kind, and do no harm.